Hi, my name is David Silverman. I'm the Senior Director on The Simpson Show, and I'm here to describe to you the steps that we take to make a show from script to finished picture. Now, we receive a script and a soundtrack from Creacion Films, and let me just go over the steps very quickly. From script and soundtrack, step one is storyboard. From storyboard comes layout. From layout, we do what's called an animatic. Once that's approved, we get prepared to ship overseas. Before we do that, we do what's called exposure sheets. Then we ship overseas to Korea. In Korea, they do the finished animation, Xerox, painting, and camera. It comes back here. We call retakes, if need be. And then it's sent back to Creacion, where they do the sound effects, the music, and mix the voices down. The whole process that I've just described takes anywhere from 5 to 7 months, from the time we get the script to the time you see it on the air. And it all starts with the script and the soundtrack. Scripts look like any other script. This one's called Treehouse of Horrors. I took over the third act, which is called The Raven, based on the Poe's Raven. It was written by Edgar Allan Poe and adapted by Sam Simon, and visually adapted by me, which is what the directors do, visually adapt the written word. So I'm going to do a scene which the line is from the poem, and it is, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. So, well, I don't do the voice. In this case, James Earl Jones does the voice, and he sounds like this.
December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow.
The next step after the script is the storyboard. The storyboard consists of individual pictures and scenes. In the shot, Homer is talking to the Raven, a.k.a. Bart. And here's the master composition, and here are some of the acting poses that Homer does. Each picture corresponds to a part of the script, dialogue, or action. Every time we have a different scene, different setup of camera, basically. And Bart, as the Raven, says, "Nevermore." Homer screams, "Ah!" Turns to Bart, and then we cut. This is the next scene. So that was scene 267. This is scene 268. And that's what the storyboard helps dictate. The compositions, the acting, and the cutting. In conjunction with the storyboard, along with the storyboard, I should say, we do character design and background design. Here we have Homer in his British-style smoking jacket. Here we have Lisa and Maggie as Seraphins. And the only real character design we had to do was Bart as a raven bird. Other elements have been designed, other props. Every new element that doesn't exist in our library already has to be designed. Now, this gentleman here is doing background layout. He's doing a background design, and from this background layout, the character layout artist will place the characters in, the key poses for each shot. The next step is the animatic. What we do is we shoot these layout drawings with the soundtrack, so we can see what we've done, see if it looks any good.
It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow.
Okay, now we're at the animatic stage. At this point, as opposed to the matter of minutes we've gone through to describe it, we've gone through about 10 to 12 weeks of production time here in the United States. The next step is to ship it overseas to Korea. In Korea, they take our layout drawings and they flesh them out with animation drawings. And to achieve this, the directors have to do one more step, and that's the exposure sheets. Each line on the sheet is one frame. A second is 24 frames. So what we do as directors is we write notes in the action column to the animators. For example, here's a little drawing of Homer's head being caressed by the hands. I've labeled the hands 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've indicated that I want them to caress over his head at different rates, different points. Here I'm saying move Homer's head from position 1 to position H2 in about 8 frames. We get very specific in our exposure sheet writings. So we ship the whole kit and caboodle over to Korea. And in Korea, it takes anywhere from really 7 weeks, sometimes 8 weeks, you get the final product. As you can see, this is a cell from the scene we just showed you. The images are Xeroxed on one side. You reverse the image and paint the back. They're transparent, so we can replace just the head part in this example and leave the body on one held cell. All the animation is done in this manner. The whole process that I've described now takes around 20 weeks. The final process is to add the sound effects and the music, which gives you a final result which looks like this.
Distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books a cease of sorrow. Sorrow for the loss of the Nore.